Well, it's an idea whose time has come. A new generation becomes as one. On the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. The future of history is crystal clear. The borders between us will disappear. On the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Some days that I'm on judgment for times. The world is no place for a vision like mine. Still I can see it, I still can't believe it. There's too many lives on the line. There's too many lives on the line. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air, and I think we ought to get along better, you and I. You and I breathe the same air.
Woo! Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone online. How are you this morning? Yes, wonderful, wonderful. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. Fall is starting, and we are moving into the season of Thanksgiving and receiving. And so, let us just come together for a moment and receive all the beautiful energy of the universe that is ours. It is ours to embody, to enjoy, to express. Let's bless this gathering this morning, this level of consciousness that is of a high vibration of love. For love is the most important thing on this earth plane, and in the spirit plane, and in the ethers, and in the universe, and beyond and beyond and beyond, because love is what brings healing. Love is what unites us all as this one beautiful divine consciousness. It is love that is who and what we are. And so we celebrate coming together today as this beautiful energy to celebrate our oneness, to celebrate our uniqueness, to celebrate life, to celebrate joy, to celebrate this season of Thanksgiving, which starts today on October 1st. And oh, how blessed we are, how blessed we are in this moment and every moment. All we need to do is turn within, go into that wise, beautiful space within the heart and listen to the universal heart. Listen to the wisdom of the heart. And breathe into your heart space now. Breathe in. Breathe in, being here as this beautiful community, knowing that there is so much to be grateful for. So many reasons to come together as community so that we do celebrate. We're inspired. We hear the Spirit through music, through word, through our own singing. And we hear and feel this divine light bringing a resonance of peace and joy, grace, wisdom, and togetherness. And for this today, for us being together as a community, for everyone online who joins us, I am so very grateful. Thank you. And I know that as my word is spoken, it is released into this law that creates this prototype, this idea of community, of consciousness, of love. And so it is already done in mind. I release, I let go. And together we affirm this thing by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Welcome. I'm changing things up. Yes, I am changing things up. And for any of you who are new here today, welcome. I am going to invite us all just to turn to our neighbor, say hello. Say hello to somebody you maybe don't know. Wave, say, give them a high five. Turn to your neighbor, just say hi. And then I'm going to invite you all to stand up, and we're going to sing This Little Light of Mine.
Okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. the light of mine. This little light of mine. Your turn. There we go. This little light of mine. Your turn now.
I'm gonna let it shine.
You got it. This little light of mine. One more time.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Okay, well, just how I switch things up. I didn't know they were doing those words. I think that's Brendan getting back at me for switching things up on him at the last minute there. No. Oh, yes. So we've been working on coming up with a name for the band. Well, we've come up with the Blended Daiquiris, but that got... And then we came up with the Compadres, thanks to Fred the other night. That got... So we're back to the band, and we have guest vocalist Aaron D'Souza with us today. Woohoo! And for those of you, you get to hear some of Aaron's originals today, which is, they're incredible. And he has an album, CD. Thank myself or what? CD out that is available at the bookstore if you would care to purchase it. So, and you have a couple concerts coming up as well, which you can talk to Aaron about next week. Yeah. So, to get started this morning, I have a few announcements. Sonia Byrne's 5-week online class on forgiveness starts October the 11th. Please go to our website to register for her workshop. It's going through her link on her website. And if you go to our website, you'll start to see some changes happening. We have a whole calendar on the front page, so you can go on and check what class is happening when, meditation, workshops. It's all there for you. We have home group sign up. Now, if you don't know what home groups are, they are little groups up to the size of 10 that get together once a month, and you are outrageously cared for and loved, and community is built, and there's friendships that happen through these home groups. We have, we're halfway through a year, so we have onboarding of our workshops or our home groups. There is Linda and Carol's Knit 1, Purl 2. Knitting is involved, but I don't think you have to knit to do that. They'll teach you. Lori and I are doing a spiritual book club, and that's going to take place on Sundays once a month at my house from 3 to 5. We have an entrepreneur group with Jackie and Hester. There's a few spots. And then if you know of anybody who lives in Sudbury, there are the Northern Lights, and they have some space as well for their home group. All the sign-ups are out in the foyer there. After service today, we have a healing circle. How many of you have not been to a healing circle? Oh my gosh. It is so incredible. If you have something that you want to shift, whether it's with health or your finances or in relationship or your creative expression, you just come here at 1 o'clock today, and myself and the rest of the practitioner corps that's here today, we are going to pray you up, and you are going to feel this high vibration of healing that takes place within your own being. And this is free to attend, so you can just meet us down here. We're going to meet at the back of the sanctuary there for 1 p.m. And this is free to attend, so you don't have to worry about that. That's it for today for announcements. I am now going to invite up our practitioner intern of the day for a few words of wisdom from Nick Maselli. So, Nick, come on up to the lectern here.
Can everybody? Oh yeah, that sounds that's better. Yeah, yeah. So a couple of my classmates have told the story up here on this stage about their journey to spiritual discovery and how they came to the center, and for me it's really appropriate in this season of Thanksgiving because I think there's a lot to give thanks for. I've been involved with the center for a long time. It was founded in Toronto in 2001, and I got involved in it about half a year later in 2002. And at that time in my life, I was an incredible spiritual seeker. Had been looking for lots of years for my spiritual community. Many years earlier, like in the 1980s, I'd lost my Catholic faith, and I still had this big hunger for spirituality, but I just didn't know where to look for it. And I'd been very involved in the Catholic Church for a while. I went to this very liberal church that allowed lay people to read scripture. So I was installed in a ceremony as a lector, and I got to read scripture, which I find really interesting looking back because I was really good at it, and I should have known then I had this gift of oratory, although I really didn't do anything with it for so many years. And now I'm up here giving talks and leading guided meditations. So it's finally coming to fruition. And in the year I discovered this center, I was very involved in martial arts, which is a great discipline. And it was one of just many disciplines I went to. I was also spending some time, once a month, there was a little guided meditation group in East Toronto, and I went out to them. When I was in martial arts, even though that's a good discipline by itself, the leader of the chain of dojos, the martial arts schools that I was a part of, sometimes gave a 3-day seminar on the Master Key, which was named after a book that appeared in the 1890s. Charles Haanel was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, and wrote very much the same way. And for 3 days, I listened to a voiceover read excerpts from this book about how my mind creates everything and I'm in control of it. And I didn't understand how it worked, but it sounded wonderful. I wanted to believe it was true. So I went to this meditation group, and there was an assistant leader whose name was Angela. And she, by a real coincidence, and this was just pure coincidence, one day she had to go out to West Toronto, which is where I lived. Her home was actually in a different direction, but this time I got a 45-minute transit trip with her, and she told me all about this spiritual center that met on Sunday at Bloor Cinema. Has anyone here been at the center long enough to remember going to Bloor Cinema? Yeah. So I went there, and I'd already had one wonderful synchronicity to even find this center. But then I went there, and at the time, the spiritual director, Reverend Barbara Schreiner-Trudell, would read every week a part of the Credo that appears in Science of Mind magazine, which is an excerpt from it. And for a couple of weeks, she put it on a screen using a prehistoric technology called an overhead projector. And I happened to go one of the weeks she did that. And my jaw dropped. This was the master key. I love this idea. I wanted to work with it, and then I found there's a community that feels the same way I do, and it was so wonderful. But I still had held back a little bit because that was my temperament. I just didn't throw myself into things. And for another 10 or 11 years, I was very involved in the center. I volunteered. I gave generously. Even though I was very poor for part of the time, I still found something to give. But I was still wondering, is this really my spiritual home? And finally, I think maybe 4 years ago, I got to the place where the author Rick Tamlin, that some of you know about, calls play your bigger game. And I decided to play my bigger game. I said, I'm committed to this place, finally, and this is my spiritual home, and I'm going to do practitioner studies, and here I am. And I look back on all the things. I look back on all the things that happened, and think, wow, this is amazing. I was doing things to prepare me for this move so many years ago, not even knowing that I was playing out the perfection of divine mind. And I also thought about the power of intention and how I wanted to find a center like this for the longest time. And even after I found it, I was still looking, and I realized, why am I looking? I'm here. But there's so much to be grateful for when I think about how perfect everything has worked out for me. And I'm going to offer you the affirmation now. I'm going to read it once and just follow me the second time through. Divine mind is always conspiring for my highest good. And now with me. Divine mind is always conspiring for my highest good. And again, divine mind is always conspiring for my highest good. And now I invite everyone to get present in this moment, be completely at peace. I recognize the wonderful creative power, the one loving source that everything comes from, and all the unfolding events come from the one source. I know that I am the perfect expression of God's love, and everyone here equally is the perfect expression of divine creativity. Every one of us is bringing our unique gifts. I know that I'm carried along in divine mind, living my life perfectly, enjoying the perfection even when I can't see it. I know it's there. And I give gratitude for this wonderful perfection of divine mind. In peace, in perfect connectedness with everything, I release the word to the law, knowing this truth. Please join me in saying, and so it is.
We're going to do a song by Ernest called You Always Have a Home. 1, 2, 3. Life can give you many paths to follow. Sometimes you don't know which way to go. If you're ever feeling weary, you need a place to rest. In me you always have a home. It's hard to try and keep it all together when you're crumbling inside and you might explode. If you wanna cry, don't hold back the tears. In me always have a hope. I won't judge, I won't criticize. I'll be your shelter from the storm. We've got each other to get through the darkest days. We don't have to be afraid anymore. Everyone has struggles they're facing, but you don't have to face them on your own. No matter where life leads you, I'm here with open arms. Me, you always have a home. I won't judge, I won't criticize. I'll be your shelter from the storm. We've got each other to get through the darkest days. We don't have to be afraid anymore. Everyone has struggles they are facing, but you don't have to face them on your own. No matter where life leads you, I'm here with open arms. And me, you always have a home. And me, you always have a home. You always have a home. Thank you.
Well, I don't think that could have been timed any better after this song coming after Nick's talk. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Hey. Brandon and I have a little thing going on during the week. He sends me a list. I send him a list back. He sends me another list. I go, how about this one? Oh, but we get it all sorted out. What are you doing?
Nothing at all.
Oh my goodness. I do like our banter. Are you like waiting to play more?
No, I'm just being on stage for a second.
Okay,
Bye.
enjoy.
My perfect timing.
So, our theme this month is the season of Thanksgiving and receiving. Because you can't have one without the other. It's the law of reciprocity. As we give, we receive. As we receive, we are filled up and we have more to give. So I have a question for you. How many of you say to yourself, I don't have enough time? I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough peace in my life, enough fun, enough financial abundance, friends. Oh, how many of you get up in the morning and say, I didn't get enough sleep? Ha ha. So, whether you say this out loud to somebody, or whether you are saying this to yourself in your mind, you are starting off your day. If you start off with, I didn't get enough sleep, I don't have enough energy, you have started your day in a deficit. And my talk title this morning is Release the deficit. Release the deficit. How many times do we say to ourselves, I don't have enough? All the years of not enough, hearing not enough from our family systems, from where we work, from our schools, from our friends, from our acquaintances, create an accumulated consciousness of deficit. The sum total of all that someone has said, thought, done, or what they've seen, consciously or unconsciously, where there has not been enough, and that is what has been focused on, creates that sum total of a definite deficit consciousness. And oh my goodness, how many of you are living in a deficit consciousness? And yet, if you think about it, all the attributes of spirit, the universal presence that is infinite, life, love, light, power, peace, wisdom, abundance, grace, joy, is ever present. There is not a deficit of spirit, and we are spirit. There is not a deficit of anything in this world. There may be a distribution problem. Okay, we can all agree on that one. There are many, many distribution difficulties. But spirit never is a deficit. It is infinite in its abundance. And what we can do is shift our own mindset to start our day in an abundance consciousness versus a deficit consciousness. Deficit is a human condition. It's what we have on an unconscious as well as a conscious level. And we have, on some level, agreed to live in it, or we wouldn't be experiencing it. If we weren't choosing that on some level, it wouldn't show up in our lives. Think about how there's such a focus on ADD, ADHD, right? Lots of deficits there in the thinking mind. And yet there's another deficit that is even more pervasive. It's a spiritual deficit disorder. Yes, a spiritual deficit disorder where we're resistant to awakening to who we are, where we wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, not enough, or we're bored, or there's an absence of passion and purpose. There's irritability, fatigue, addictions. Addictions are all signs of a spiritual deficit disorder. This sense of lack. And so, what I want you to start to do is to think about, wow, how is that showing up in my life? What's going on in my mind? Start asking. Start paying attention to where you are seeing the glass half empty instead of the glass half full, which could actually be overflowing. Because it means then we're just looking for more outside of ourselves to fill up the deficit that could never be filled up through external circumstances. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many great things you have. If you are still empty on the inside, you are living in a spiritual deficit. And a spiritual deficit is probably the number one cause of dis-ease in the mind. And we talk about this, that for every dis-ease on the physical level, there is a spiritual cause, or a mental emotional cause, not a spiritual cause, a mental emotional cause of some kind of irritation in our own minds that is of creating some kind of effect in our body. And I had this conversation with someone last night, a friend of mine, who was talking about her partner, saying, he's going to get a heart attack, he's going to get a heart attack, he's eating the wrong things, he's doing the wrong things. And I went, do you know what the number one cause of heart attacks are? Loneliness. Right? Loneliness. Loneliness will cause the stress. Loneliness will cause us to stuff our bodies. Loneliness will cause us to go into addictions. When I was at the Heart Math Institute, and it's hard to believe I was there a year ago in California, they talked about this, where the studies are now being done on the heart and what happens to the heart when there is this emotional deficit. Loneliness. Loneliness is that mental, emotional cause that creates a whole chain of events that create stress, that create the overeating and the needing to have all of this out here. And she was like, I don't know if I buy that. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to. I'm not here to change your mind. But I know, and I am standing in the truth of what I speak about up here as a metaphysician. Metaphysician means beyond the physical. Go back to the emotional, mental cause in mind. And when there is a dis-ease and deficit in the mind, it shows up in our physical form. It shows up in the world of effects. And I said to her, I lived this. I saw the power of healing through the mind in my own childhood as I watched my mom be diagnosed when I was 13, told she would not live through the night, that she had colon and liver cancer. She would not make it through the night. She did, and she chose to live, and she chose to get healthy again. And then and I will say, this is how healthy she got, because she was a commercial pilot back in the 70s when nobody really had cancer or knew of cancer the same way, is she got well enough to get her commercial pilot's license back. So that was after being given, you're not going to live through the night, to her consciously choosing her path of healing, which started out using all the medical resources that were available to her, but then also going beyond that into the metaphysical. That's what started me on this journey, long before I was even conscious of it, because I witnessed it. Then I also very clearly witnessed the day she chose to no longer be here. I witnessed her say it, and I watched the cancer come back. She consciously made that choice. And now, knowing what I know, I can also see and understand and have incredible, incredible compassion for her, but for also all the mental, emotional causes. It's like, all right, yeah, I saw her resentment. I saw her anger. I saw her not feeling worthy. I saw so many things with her. So I know, I've witnessed it. So my mind is so completely made up that there is a mental, emotional cause back of every dis-ease that shows up in the physical world. And so, when we live in a deficit of spirituality, of connection to our own light, our own love, our own divine presence of goodness, we are starting to create that deficit. And we're not doing this consciously. Most of dis-ease starts in the unconscious. The definition in science of mind of disease is an impersonal thought force. Impersonal. Because it lives in the law. And the law, we talk about spirit, law, effect, and form. Our thoughts go into a law. Everything we have ever experienced goes into that universal subjective law. Everything, whether we're aware of it or not. And so therefore, there is so much that lies in our unconscious. That's why we're here. We're trying to get more conscious, yes? And so, disease is an impersonal thought force, meaning it lives in the law, which doesn't belong to all. It doesn't belong to spirit. While every disease is an effect, it first must have a subjective cause. And I know that's a lot of, what? Subjective, our universal subjective mind that is within our mind, our own mind, that holds all of what we've experienced. Whenever something is activated, that's what shows up. People go, well, I was really happy for so long and everything was going along really well, and then something happened and it triggers us. It triggers us. And then stuff starts to show up and people go, I don't get this. And I'm like, well, it was just lying there in your subconscious mind. But guess what? You can do something about it. You can start to fill up with the divine spirit that you are. You can activate that within yourself and be in your own empowerment. It's nothing out there. You have the power in here. And so when we get disconnected from who we are, from the truth of who we are, this is when the dis-ease starts to show up. And so to remember, there's a very specific saying in Science of Mind: perfect God, perfect man, perfect being at the very core of who we are. We are this perfect divine God, spirit, universal presence, whatever you want to call it. And we are this perfect woman, man, at the very core of who we are. And we are a perfect being. And to come back and touch into that over and over and over again so that we know it and it's so fully embodied as, yes, this is who I am and this is how I show up in the world. Ernest Holmes says, if we believe in suffering, we shall suffer. Life responds to us. Life responds to us in the way that we approach it. We should choose that which we wish to embody: love, health, vibrancy, peace, joy, grace, abundance. And by constant attention to what we choose to embody, take on all of its characteristics. Let us choose to be identified with love, power, and beauty, with peace and happiness. Let us identify ourselves with abundance and success. And when we start to do that, we will no longer be living in a deficit in any area of our mind, including when we don't get enough sleep. It'll still be okay because we'll tap into that vital energy and know that we can make the perfect right choices for us based on what we need to do to take care of yourself. So I invite you in your own mind to create a mental equivalent, an idea, mental idea of, I am enough. I am success. I am abundance in every area of my life. I have all that I need right here, right now. And of course, when we focus on that, it makes what we have enough so we can open up to receiving more. This is where gratitude comes in. Gratitude is saying thank you for all that we have right here, right now, so that we can be that open channel. You can't do that if you're in a place of resentment. If you're in a deficit, you create a constriction on a cellular, mental, emotional level where it doesn't allow us to receive. So let's open up this week. Let's open up this month and say, yes, I am enough and I have enough right here, right now. So when you awaken in the morning, don't just lie in bed and go, oh, I'm so tired. Get yourself up out of bed and say, yes, yes, I am enough. And thank you for this day. Thank you for all the good that is in my life. For there is good in the universe and I ought to have it. There is good, and I am open to receiving it. There is good because I am good. I am great. I am success. I am love. I am light. I am this divine, beautiful being. So worthy of having so much more than you ever could have dreamed of. Open up to receiving and say yes. Yes, stop living in a deficit. When we stop living in a deficit in our own minds, we will then stop experiencing deficit in our life. And this is where each and every one of us have choice. So are you willing to stop living in a deficit, to just even try it on for a month? And just be really conscious around focusing your mind on the abundance that you have, the good that you have. Find something, and we all can find something to be grateful for. And open up our channel of that is connected to that beautiful infinite source of love and light and peace and power and grace and joy and abundance. Let's open it up, receive it, fill up with it, and then also give it away. Namaste. Thank you. Oh, so here's what I would like you all to say with me. Put your hands on your heart and say, I am a spiritual being at my core. I am life. I am light. I am beauty. I am abundant. I am wise. I am enough. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Oh, okay. Let it sink down into your cells. Let it just go right down into every part of your being. Breathe it in. Divine giving, divine receiving. So this is the time in our service when we pass the baskets and we gratefully receive what you have to offer the center today. But I'm going to talk about something else. We also, for this month, we're going to do a second giving. It's up to you. We have a basket outside the door. And one of our community members, Ken Ramstead, works for the Salvation Army. And I didn't really know anything about the Salvation Army. I except for the Christmas things and the drop things off at the Salvation Army, I didn't really know what they did. So I talked to Ken and I said, I want to have a second opportunity for people to give what they can to an organization that I know that money that we collect will go to benefit people that have been suffering in the world from all the disasters that have been happening. And he said, well, check out the Salvation Army. And I was like, oh, you guys do work in the world? Like my own ignorance, my own judgment. He sent me a link. 8.6% of what they take in goes to operations and fundraising. 91.4% of what they take in goes to direct and indirect programming. And then I looked up just what they've done in the world, and I cried. I was like, man, have I ever been ignorant about the good that they do in the world? And I looked at their core values, and here's what they are, because they're so aligned with us. Compassion, we reach out to others and care for them. Respect, we promote the dignity of all persons. Excellence, we strive to be the best at what we do and a model for others to emulate. Integrity, we are honest, trustworthy, and accountable. Relevance, we are committed to the pursuit of innovation and effectiveness. Cooperation, we encourage and foster teamwork and partnership. Celebration, we give thanks by marking milestones and successes. And I went, thank you, Ken. What a great organization that I'm willing to get behind and support. So for the month of October, in the season of Thanksgiving and receiving, if you're so inclined, there is a basket just outside the door, and you can pop in whatever you want, cash or check, or you can do a directed donation at the bookstore. And it's just another way to really open ourselves up. Because of course, the more we give, even when we don't think we have anything to give, anything is better than nothing, because in the mind of the universe, in the mind of God, there is no difference between a loonie and $100. The universe can't tell the difference. What's most important is the energy that you give with. So know that that's available to you this month. And as the baskets go around today, we are going to sing, so appropriately, What Do I Have to Give? So I invite you to all stand up.
What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? Can I do to show that I care? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What can I do to show that I care? What do I give? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What can I do to show that I care? What do I give? What do I give?
And I recognize the one source of all supply, the abundance that the creative mind offers to all of us, and how everyone here has given generously and in whatever way they can. And I welcome these these wonderful gifts from the heart that enrich every one of us. I'm grateful for the abundance that creative mind has to offer, and all the generosity and sharing that we're sharing today. I release the word to the law in peace. Please join me in saying, and so it is.
What do I give? What do I have to share? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show that I care? What do I give? What do I give?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have another Aaron D'Souza original, so take it away.
All right. This next song is called If Tomorrow Never Comes, and I wrote this one, and it's on my record. So you can find it in the bookstore, and it's also available on iTunes, and so here we go. If tomorrow never comes, and my time in this world is over and done, it's okay, 'cause I know that I've lived my life the best way I can. If Judgment Day is close by, and the good Lord says it's your time, I won't cry, 'cause I know that I live my life the best way I can. Don't try to rain on my parade. Don't burst my bubble. Don't give me trouble. Life's too short to let it all go to waste. Take it from me, it's bittersweet. I recommend it. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
Oh yes, you live and learn something new every day. So make this one count. There ain't no second chance to not enjoy it. Don't make no sense. Be yourself, give it all you've got, and live your life the best way you can. Don't try to rain on my parade. Don't burst my bubble. Don't give me trouble. Life's too short to let it all go to waste. Take it from me, it's bittersweet. I recommend it. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
Oh yes, you live and learn something new every day. one count. There ain't no second chance to not enjoy it. You know it don't make no sense. Be yourself, give it all you got, and live your life the best way you can. Be yourself, give it all you got, and live your life the best way that you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm going to start off by thanking Aaron D'Souza and the band. Woo! Oh, few more thanks. Thanks to Linda and Tom for greeting, for Margaret Ann for setting up yesterday. For Margaret Ann and Hester, they came and they cleaned the bookstore and did inventory and just really did a great job in there. We have a lot of new products that are going to start coming in. It's we're really focusing on not so much books because you can kind of get them anywhere, and Kindle we can't really compete with. But we are going to focus on products, Canadian natural products to nourish your mind, body, and soul. So new stuff will be coming in next week. Linda and Rivers, they cleaned up the back alley yesterday, Friday. Oh, thank you. That was a real messy jungle. So bless you and Rivers for cleaning up. Thank you. Yelka and Mira are cleaning up after service today. Thank you so much. We have Cohen on sound, Jim on the camera. Lena, thank you for your meditation today. Nick, thank you for your brilliant words. They are just perfectly timed with Aaron's song. And please come and join us for the Healing Circle at 1 p.m. And thank you to everyone online. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us live or you watch later on in the archives. And thank you to all of you. Many, many blessings. You're wonderful. Thank you so, so much for bringing your consciousness here today. And we are going to finish up with Let the Day Begin. So I invite you to all stand up and we'll sing our way out here.
Here's to the babies in a brand new world. Here's to the beauty of the stars. Here's to the travelers in the open world. Here's to the dreamers in the bars. Here's to the teachers, the crowded room. Here's to the workers in the field. Here's to the preachers of the sacred word. Here's to the drivers at the wheel. Here's to you, my little loves, the blessings from above, let the day begin. Here's to you, my little loves, the blessings from above, let the day begin. Day begin, the day start. Here's to the winners of the human race. Here's to the losers of the game. Here's to the soldiers of the bitter war. Here's to the wall that bears their names. Here's to you, my little loves, the blessings from above, let the day begin. Here's to you, my little loves. With blessings from above, let the day begin, day begin, day start. I want to see you clap your hands now. Come on. You got it. Here we go. Here's to the doctors and their healing work. Here's to the loved ones and their care. Here's to the strangers on the streets at night. Here's to the lonely everywhere. Here's to you, my little loves. With blessings from above, let the day begin. Here's to you, my little loves. With blessings from above, let the day begin. Here's to you, my little loves. With blessings from above, let the day begin. Here's to you, my little loves. With blessings from above, let the day begin.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you.